This is Wave News at 5.
The rain continues in some areas, but the severe weather is out of our way. The weather is trying to put a damper on the Derby Week festivities. What you need to know about rain chances going into Oaks and Derby. We thank you for watching Wave News at 5. I'm Myra Ansari. Race fans have braced the rain and the wind this week, and with Thurby wrapping up soon, the big question is, how's the weather going to hold up over the next 2 days, and how it's going to impact you if you're going out to the track, hosting parties, or just wanting to get outside. We've got team coverage for you out at Churchill Downs. We're going to check in with my co-anchor, Brian Schlonsky, and reporter Alina Noakes. They're out at the track talking Derby predictions and the excitement going into the weekend. But first, let's head over to Chief Meteorologist Kevin Harned, who's timing out the rain for Oaks and now added to the mix of alert days, Kev.
Yeah, it is. And we've got rain chance Derby day, too. But the chance doesn't mean an all-day rain, just like we've seen the past several days at Churchill Downs, where while they may get a brief shower here or there, it doesn't rain the entire day, and I think tomorrow is a lot like that too. Timing is everything. Outside right now, we've got a partly sunny sky over the downtown skyline. Southern Indiana seeing some sun. Temperatures there mid-70s. Jeff at 75, Salem 76, 73 in Court, and 60s to our east where we have the rain. We've had a few showers pass us here in Louisville, but nothing too obnoxious. The best rain chance now is off to our east, and that's where we have the chance for a few strong storms. For us, no severe weather, and just about out of our viewing area with the exception of Franklin County. We're rain-free. Now, we do have a few showers and thunderstorms that have been strong to our east, and that's where the watch is still located. A few showers pinwheeling around this area of low pressure, trying to move into southwest Indiana. That's why we're going to maintain a very small rain chance through the balance of the evening. So our rain chance 30, back down to 20, eventually a 10% chance into early tomorrow morning. That comes with a little bit of fog. We're going to time out the Oaks Day rain chance, tell you why it's an alert day. Some areas could see some strong storms, and I'll tell you who's most at risk for that. Plus, take a look to Derby Day, too. Myra, all that's coming up in just about 15 minutes.
All right, we'll see you then, Kevin. Thanks. We're back at Churchill Downs this week as we inch closer to the 151st running of the Kentucky Oaks and Derby. And my co-anchor, Brian Schlonsky, is at Churchill for Thurby at the track. And Brian, a number of people there, they're taking advantage of the day. It's grown the past 2 days. What's it like out there today?
You can feel how much it's grown over the past couple of days. This really feels like the Thurby atmosphere that we have come to grown accustomed to over the past couple of years, setting records in back-to-back years. 2023, 55,000, then 60,000 last year. We'll have to wait from the total tally from Churchill Downs to see how we did this year. But if you look here behind me, we've been at the first turn. You can see the crowd underneath the Twin Spires. It really looks full today, starting to look close to the way that it kind of does on Oaks and Derby Day. Yeah, a few gaps here and there, but that's because people are hanging out in the paddock today, and they're also enjoying some of those other experiences that are being offered today on this Thurby Day. They're celebrating Kentucky. They're doing some whiskey installations, doing some stuff with some old Model T cars. There's been a fashion show. There's even a nod to ear ecstasy as they're celebrating music in Kentucky today. You remember the old record store that was there in the Highlands along Bardstown Road for so many years? They've even had a celebration out here today, so that's something that locals who've grown up here in the Louisville area know and love, and wish maybe was still around here today in Louisville, Kentucky. We mentioned today's a lot of locals here, but also a lot of out-of-towners who are enjoying this, maybe for them, first day of the Derby week, even though the rest of us have been out here all week. Somebody else who's been out here all week, Wave News reporter Alina Noakes. She has talked to a whole bunch of different people. She is in the crowd here along the first turn as well, not far from where I'm situated. Alina, what do you got for us?
Yeah, not far, Brian. Like you said, there's a lot of out-of-towners here as the crowd keeps growing every single year, but we also have locals here because what is today? It's a day for the locals. These two from Hardin County coming all the way from E-Town out here. We've got Ray and Kelly. I know you guys make it a habit of betting on these horses. Tell me your process. How's today going?
Process is just looking at the program, checking out their past history, what they've done at Churchill Downs, and if I like the name or not.
The name a lot. Yeah, you said 3 things that you look for in a horse when you're betting on it.
The name, the jockey, and the color of the silks.
I'd have to say that I would probably look at the exact same characteristics. A name, I've got to have a good name, a strong name on these horses, right? Well, how have things gone today? Have you had any luck?
One race, we both hit the exacta, won over $500. So we're good for the day. We don't bet that much.
Isn't that the key? You don't want to place too much on a horse. But you're looking ahead of this next race. We've got just about 10 minutes out. That's what it looks like. Who's your pick for this next one?
It was
Caramel. What we got?
I like number 6, Caramel Chip.
Caramel Chip. Okay, 8-1 odds.
mine's the exacta 4, 6, 7.
Okay, that sounds like a pretty good order to go in. I mean, Caramel Chip sounds like a delicious combination, right, for this horse. Let's hope he looks like a Caramel Chip. Okay, well, let's hope that that's the way that it works out for you guys. We got 8-1 odds. I think that's pretty good odds, Brian.
And it's great, too. We still have a couple races here today. Of course, as we inch closer to Derby Day itself, Derby 151, the racing extends later into the evening. So the last couple days, if you were with us on our coverage, things kind of cleared out by our 6 o'clock in the evening show. And today will be a lot different. Crowds will still be here betting on the ponies. All right, track looks beautiful behind us. We hope it stays this way for the next couple of days. We know that it's not just the track getting ready for Derby week. Businesses and neighbors nearby, they see a lot of traffic, more than usual during Derby week. And as Wave News reporter Fernando Garcia Franciscini explains, a lot of preparation goes into making sure that they are ready to meet all of that high demand.
Because of how close it is to Churchill, Haywood Avenue is a busy street on Derby week. And as the run for the roses gets closer, it only gets even more hectic out here. It's easy to find people selling spaces for people to pay to park and others grilling and selling food to the thousands making their way to the track. Andre Todd and his dad have been feeding people for the last 10 Kentucky Derbies. He says he spends between $2,000 to $3,000 in food every year. And even though he's been trying to avoid the rain, he says not even some storms could keep the people away.
You're not going to be able to walk through here without saying excuse me in a minute. It's going to be that many people out here, whether it's raining or not.
Across the street from where Andre and his dad set up is El Molcajete, a local Mexican restaurant. The owner there tells me they prepare for the big week by making sure they have enough staff and food. She says every employee is required to work Oaks and Derby Day. She also tells me there's a lot of planning that goes into it. Because of the road closures and traffic, many vendors just don't come into the area to deliver. So restaurant staff have to meet them at a different location. Business owners say the best part of the week is the people they get to meet thanks to the Kentucky Derby. Fernando Garcia Franciscini, Wave News.
Cool thing, too, that a lot of these businesses do during Derby week, they will extend their hours, make sure that they're open later to accommodate all of these people, serve a lot of us as we leave Churchill Downs during the Kentucky Derby after a long day of betting. And who knows what else, guys, as we send it back to you in the studio. Things pretty tame so far here today on this Thurby. I'll say that. Good crowd.
There's still some time. All right.
Don't do that to us.
Thanks so much, Brian. Well, we're the ones to watch for the 151st running of the Kentucky Oaks and Kentucky Derby, from the Derby contenders to the parties to the fashion trends and everything in between. Wave is your official Kentucky Derby station. You can watch our coverage from wherever you are, on the air, the app, and on streaming platforms. Well, every year in May, the Indiana State Police, they host several memorial services to honor those who have died in the line of duty. We're taking a look at the impact it's had on those officers' families. Plus, the rain didn't stop the yearly kindergarten derby at Louisville Collegiate School. You're going to hear why the tradition means so much to the community.
Wave News.
Some of the littlest racing fans got to host their own derby today. Family, friends, and community members, they gathered to watch 5 and 6-year-old jockeys run the kindergarten derby at Louisville Collegiate School. Look at how cute they look. It's the 63rd year for the event, and students make their own horses and matching silks. And the kindergarten derby is a tradition that alumni return to watch every year.
It's amazing because, like I said, so many have done it themselves, and so they feel that excitement. They're excited for students that they see down the hallway to then take front stage and be able to run and race and do their best.
And teachers say that they start making everything that they need about 3 weeks before the race. Work is happening now to help celebrate the winner of tomorrow's Oaks race. Right now, workers are preparing the garland of lilies for the Oaks winner. And fans can stop by the Middletown Kroger to watch and take pictures as the garland is being created. It takes more than 100 stargazer lilies to make the garland for the Oaks. And workers will spray and refrigerate the garland overnight to make sure that it's still fresh for Derby Day. And the garland will get an escort through the track in a gold framed glass case. Kroger has been putting together the garland of lilies since 1991. Well, it's not all fancy suits, dresses, and fascinators at the track. We're learning more about the team of people tasked with handling one of Churchill Downs' messiest jobs. Look at that.
Yeah. I'll tell you, you could describe the weather with that, too, I think, huh? Yeah, just a bunch of that. All right. Hey, we are watching the radar. We've got a few downpours out there. The threat of severe weather over today may return for some tomorrow. We've got an alert day for your Oaks Day, timing that out, and the Derby Day forecast when we come back.
Well, it's been kind of a country, Kevin. The alert day is over, which is good, but we still have the rest of the evening. A lot of things going on tonight, too.
Yeah, and the good news is the threat of severe weather over, most of the rain over for tonight. Unfortunately, like we've been in this pattern, we reset that every afternoon, and tomorrow we're going to do it again. So there is an Oaks Day rain chance. It's not a washout. There's going to be plenty of dry time. And then we've got a Derby Day rain chance, which may extend across a little more of the day, but much less powerful, meaning no severe weather on Derby Day. All right, let's walk through that. Let's start with tonight. Just a few showers still possible this evening. Those are going to be real hit and miss. Most of them are moving off to the east, but we do have the chance to see a brief shower before it all comes to an end, and we see some fog develop overnight tonight. Now, with that said, it's about a 20 to 10% rain chance through the evening and overnight hours. I'll put the rain chances up in case you're making plans outside this evening. So up until about 6 o'clock, 30%. Then we're going to take that down 20%, take it down even more by early tomorrow morning. So your Oaks Day morning actually looks pretty good. It's dry. It's going to be a little foggy out there. When we look at the rain chances, well, we've certainly scooted past today with very little rain at the track. That was some good news. We had some rain closer to that midday time frame, which we thought we would. Since then, we've been bringing the rain chance down. Once we get past midnight, the rain chance really falls off down to 10% or less. That takes us into early tomorrow morning. Not bad for early Oaks Day. Now, the problem is during the afternoon, scattered storms start to develop. And then I think probably around that 5, 6, 7 o'clock time frame, I know that's bad timing, we're going to increase the chance for showers and thunderstorms, not only here in Louisville, but especially to our south. And that's where we'll see the greatest threat for lightning and any type of severe weather. But nonetheless, it's close enough. We'll bump up the rain chance during that time, bring it back down late Friday night into early Saturday morning, and then during the day Saturday from the mid to late morning hours into the afternoon and even into the evening hours, though by race time we start to bring the rain chance back down. We're still going to have to contend with some rain at the track on Saturday. In fact, periods of rain throughout the day, it looks like. Outside we go from the Kentucky Mesonet stations. Still a mostly cloudy sky, a mix of 60s and 70s depending on where you are. If you had the rain, you're in the 60s. Places like Lebanon, down toward Willisburg and Springfield, pushing to Shelbyville, Frankfort. Yeah, you can see those areas had the bulk of the rain. That's all moving to our east. We're going to break the clouds just a bit, see some sunshine, a small rain chance. We already note that across southwest Indiana. That pivots across our area this evening. It's a small chance for rain. The fronts are stacked up, waiting to move in. It's like airplanes trying to land. And yeah, we're like, come on in. No, we don't really want them, but they're on the way. Fog potential exists early tomorrow morning, and then we're going to build in the showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. They'll be scattered in the afternoon until that 5, 6, 7 o'clock time frame, and that's when we see this cluster of storms move through. Bad timing on that because that would be either right before or right around, give or take an hour, of the post for the Kentucky Oaks. Now we see that move past, and then there's just a few lingering showers late at night into early on Saturday. So the Oaks Day forecast, fog early, temperatures upper 70s, scattered storms in the afternoon, becoming more likely with that cluster of storms moving through around 5, 6, 7 o'clock, and then fading back down. We get to Saturday, we have that morning rain chance pushing in, and then the afternoon with some spotty showers. There are breaks in there, but it does look like there will be periods of rain on Saturday. It doesn't look like that will be severe. That's some good news. So when we look at our Derby Day forecast, we're going to put temperatures in the 60s. So it's going to be a cooler day. That comes with a mostly cloudy sky, of course. Periods of rain early, then again in the afternoon, fading the rain chance down just a bit by the time we reach the Kentucky Derby post, and that's at 6:57. That's what we're looking like at this point. We're constantly analyzing the data and revising the forecast hour by hour. It's a tough, tough forecast this year. A 74-degree temperature right now. We're going to look for that temperature to drop into the low 60s tonight. Any rain or storms will be fading, and then that fog develops early tomorrow. Going to keep the alert day in place because of the severe threat, especially south of Louisville tomorrow. That would be between 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. 78 for tomorrow's high. We'll be in the 50s to low 60s on Derby Day, the 60s for Derby Day, and then the upper 50s to lower 60s for Sunday and Monday, even with a rain chance lingering then, and a few more scattered storms next week. Myra?
All right, thanks so much, Kevin. My co-anchor, Brian Schlonsky, has been live out at Churchill Downs nearly every day this week, showing you all the special days at the track, and he is out there for Thurby today. Brian, I think the crowds have just exploded for Thurby. Oh, so many people are out there. It's become Louisville's day, really.
They really have, and we got to hear the crowd erupt twice during the last race that went around the track here. We're at the first turn, the clubhouse, where our old set used to be for the old school wave watchers out there. Race 9 went through, and one of the jockeys lost his mount right at the very beginning and ended up, the horse finished the race, would have finished in second. Of course, doesn't count without the rider, but it really highlighted the talent of the outriders. I talked about that second eruption of cheers. The outriders, they're like real cowboys. They wrangled that horse in, no injury, all safe, quick, fast, easy, and then paraded right by all the fans here on the first turn, and everyone gave, again, that horse and outrider a round of applause. They really are fantastic at what they do. Speaking about people who are good at what they do, this next story a little different. Maybe somebody that doesn't get highlighted all the time. You think of glitz and glam when you think of the Kentucky Derby, all the beautiful outfits and people and all the money that comes along with Churchill Downs and betting this week. But there are some unsung heroes behind the scenes, and no, we're not talking about those outriders we just mentioned here on the track. Wave News reporter Logan Perrone is introducing us to one of the teams that has, I would call it, the dirtiest job here at the track.
On the backside at Churchill Downs is where you'll find Ramiro Palacios. For 2 decades, he's been keeping the backside stables spick and span and free of smell.
It stinks, but it's a job. Somebody has to do it, somebody that really know how to do it.
Ramiro is the GM of Fast Track Express, the company tasked with taking care of what the horses leave behind. The day starts around 10 a.m. after morning workouts. It happens with a crew of about a dozen, a small fraction compared to the army of horses they clean up after at racing's biggest stage.
When you got 1,400 horses here pooping every day, so you gotta pick it up every day.
With that many horses in the stables, that's a lot of horse crap to clean up. So the people in the stables, they take them to pits like these, and that equates to about 7 truckloads a day, or 1,200 yards of crap.
Tons on tons of hay with horse droppings first gets dumped in Lexington. Processing takes place at the Thoroughbred Center before the manure makes its way to mushroom farms in Pennsylvania and Tennessee. Like the thoroughbreds running in the Derby, Ramiro and his team put in the work day in and day out.
If you skip one day, those horses don't stop, and it really can get out of hand really easy. So you really have to stay on top of it every single day.
It might seem thankless, and it might be messy, but it's this crew you won't see on that sacred Saturday in May that Ramiro says make the job so rewarding.
We work together and just make the horsemen happy, and it just floats. You know, when everything works as a team, it's a good thing, you know.
Reporting at Churchill Downs, Logan Perrone, Wave News.
So you never really know what it takes to really make this place tick and make it as beautiful as it is. A very important job here at Churchill Downs. And speaking of the Fast Track Express, it's not just Churchill Downs. They take care of tracks all across Kentucky. They work at Keeneland and Lexington, as well as tracks in Maryland, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. Our coverage from Thurby rolls on here along the first turn at Churchill Downs. We've got more coming your way after the short break.
One person was arrested in connection to a fire that killed 2 teens in Frankfort. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office says 44-year-old Dustin Fields was charged in connection with the fire. The fire broke out just after midnight Wednesday morning at a home on Flat Creek Road. 2 teens were killed inside. Their names have not been released. The sheriffs did not release any information regarding the relation, if any, between Fields and the victims. Fields is now charged with first-degree arson. Well, today's rain paused for just enough time for those paying their respects to ISP troopers killed in the line of duty. 49 officers were honored at the annual Indiana State Police Memorial Service. The ceremony took place today at ISP Post 45 in Sellersburg. And at the event, the names of 49 troopers who died on duty were read aloud. 5 of them are connected to the area.
It is a family, you know, we do support each other. You're not alone, no matter what we go through, whether it's something like this or, you know, when we just had a trooper who had a baby a few days ago, and, you know, that's special to everybody here. Birthdays, all those types of things, we try to honor each other and remember each other, and we do think of each other as family.
And these memorial services are conducted each year at every post in the state throughout May. Still ahead at 5:30, we're still watching out for the rain chances on Oaks and Derby. We're going to have all that you need to know, what you can bring, what you can't bring to the track. Plus, picking the right Derby horse could lead to a big payout. We're going to catch up with NBC analyst Kenny Rice to chat about his picks and Bob Baffert's return to Churchill Downs.
Now, Wave News at 5.
The rain today didn't stop folks from coming out to Churchill Downs for Thurby, and we are gearing up for Oaks and Derby, which is tomorrow and then Saturday. It's all happening so quickly, and we've had back-to-back alert days. Kevin, that alert day is done for today, but tomorrow we've got more rain to talk about for Oaks.
Yeah, and even a thunderstorm chance tomorrow, and the better chance for that's going to be just off to our south, Myra, but we can't rule it out completely for Louisville, and it's limited, meaning it's much like today. We see a wave of rain move through, and then there's plenty of dry time. I really think Oaks Day is going to be similar to that. You'll notice the clouds, they're certainly dark, and in some cases it's raining. Most of that rain is off to our east at this point, where we have temperatures in the 60s from Lexington, Frankfort, over to Shelbyville, Lebanon, Campbellsville, 74 in Louisville. Notice that rain moving now away from us, closer to eastern Kentucky. A few lighter showers were on the radar, but fading as they approach, so that's why the rain chance is very low from this point forward. You'll notice that rain now over near Lexington, pushing past Richmond, moving over to the eastern part of the state where they still are under the severe thunderstorm watch. For us, area of low pressure to the north, one front and then another. Unfortunately, those are the fronts lined up to move closer to us over the next couple of days, which will prompt rain chances and even a few thunderstorms on our Friday. Consequently, overnight tonight, the rain chance will ease. Areas of fog develop by early tomorrow morning. We'll be in the 60s. We've got plenty of dry time, especially early in the day tomorrow for your Oaks Day. But by afternoon, scattered storms develop, and there is a chance for showers and thunderstorms increasing by late afternoon. We've got the alert day in place. We'll time out the Oaks Day rain chance and let you know what Derby Day is looking like coming up in a few minutes. Myra.
All right. Thanks so much, Kevin. Well, things are already changing for the horses on Derby Day. We've just found out that one horse that we've been talking quite a bit about has been scratched from the Derby lineup. Let's head out to my co-anchor, Brian Schlonsky, out at Churchill Downs for Thurby today.
Yeah, Myra, you can tell the folks out here who are real horse racing fans who have a lot at stake going into Saturday as well, because a lot of people were getting notifications on their phone, and you could see them looks of shock as Rodriguez, one of the 2 Bob Baffert trained horses, now out of Kentucky Derby 151. So that leaves Beza coming into the field. Here to talk a little bit more about how significant this is, we've got Wave Sports Director Kendrick Haskins joining me here along the first turn, and you and I were chatting in the commercial break. It's Bob Baffert's big return to Churchill Downs after a 4-year hiatus. Was coming in with 2 horses, now just 1, and he's popping out of the 1 hole.
Yeah, Citizen Bull, he may have been one of the favorites coming into this race if he didn't have a bad trip in the Santa Anita Derby. He's coming out of the 1 hole, so you can't like his chances coming into the Derby. And he said Rodriguez, who was the Wood Memorial winner and won his last race, has to scratch. Literally just found this out maybe about 5 minutes ago. When I say he won the Wood Memorial, Beza gets in. He's got 2 wins in his career, and it's going to severely change the pace of this race.
So does this change, too, some of the odds when we look at bringing Beza in? Where do you see this whole picture moving as we get closer to Saturday?
So yeah, it's going to change it tremendously. A lot of odds are going to fluctuate. It's going to be because the odds are going to fluctuate coming into Saturday anyway, especially with the Bob Baffert horses. I expected both of them, even though Citizen Bull's coming from the 1 hole, I expected him to move up into betting just because it's Bob Baffert. With him being down to one horse in the race, it's going to change everything once the odds come out.
You know, you mentioned that the owner told you the other day you think that horse has the speed to get out. If not, going to get sandwiched there along the rail.
Yeah, he told us that during the post-position draw when we interviewed him on Saturday. He thinks he's got the speed, and with the new gate, with all 20 horses being in the same gate, it does give them a little more room, so it's not as much of a death sentence as it used to be in the past. So he may be able to get out there, but he's going to have to use a lot of energy to get out ahead of the horses to get up on the lead. But he does have, it is a shorter route around the track, so it could work out if he can just get out of there and not get squeezed in early.
Look, we know these things happen. There are scratches. Rich Strike a couple of years ago was a late ad, ended up winning the Kentucky Derby as one of the biggest long shots in history. So this is what makes it exciting. But for somebody like Bob Baffert, who there was a lot of excitement about his return, where do you think somebody with as much experience as he has, where's he sitting mentally right now?
I'm sure he's upset, especially for the owners of the horses that he's working with. But Bob Baffert, you know, he's one of the coolest cats here at the track. He's not overreacting. I'm sure he's calm.
He's been there.
Yes, he's been there, done that, and I'm sure he's going to put 1,000% of his energy into Citizen Bull, who, even though he had a bad trip his last trip out, he was super high on him when we talked to him when he first got here last Friday. So I'm sure he's calm, and I'm sure he thinks he can still win this thing.
All right, good to know. Speaking of some of those odds, one of the best parts about Derby Week is we are surrounded by experts in the horse racing industry. You got to sit down with a few of them, have throughout the last few weeks, and there's one you want to highlight in specific.
Right, I had the joy of talking to Kenny Rice, NBC analyst, and I got to pick his brain on what he thinks will happen, especially, ironically, with Bob Baffert in the Kentucky Derby.
Exciting is it for you guys bringing the Derby to NBC?
We're glad to be back. It's always exciting. Me as a Kentuckian especially.
The prevailing storyline is the return of Bob Baffert, just him coming back and being in the Kentucky Derby. How big is that for the sport of horse racing?
I think he's the biggest story there. He's the most recognizable face in the sport. This is the most recognizable race, and he's handled it well. He's announced it. We know it. He's back. We know what happened. Move on. That's been his attitude. I think that's everyone's attitude. And, you know, in the media, we would like to dwell on that more. But trust me, all the trainers over there, they don't care if he's back or not. They're focused on their horse. And that's all they're situated about, how to beat Bob Baffert now, not anything else.
And to beat him, it's going to be a little stretch to beat him because for one, he's so successful in the Derby, and two, he's bringing a couple runners in there who could make some noise down the stretch.
Yeah, Citizen Bull's interesting. Saw him last year. He had a bad race the last time out. I think Bob those timed him up pretty well. He had a good workout. And Rodriguez has put up some good numbers, when he won the Wood Memorial. But they got bad post positions. So I don't know. You don't want to use up too much. Mike Smith, one of the greats of all time. Amazing that he's still out there. He'll be riding Bull. So we'll see what happens on that. I think they're going to figure in the mix. I'm not going to think they're winning, but they're going to figure in the mix.
breaking news just coming down. Rodriguez is out of the Kentucky Derby. Coming up at 6 o'clock. I did ask Kenny his picks for the Derby, and actually it won't change much. We'll see that at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it's good to know. All right, Kendrick, we'll see you back here in just a bit, and you'll see our coverage of Thurby back here in just a bit as well. The winds have picked up. The clouds are back. It's actually quite comfortable here at Churchill Downs on this Thurby, 2 days out from Derby 151. Back to you.
All right. Thanks so much, Brian. We'll see you in a bit. Well, there's a push to protect the workforce who keep the horses and stables at Churchill Downs running. You're going to hear more about the fears immigrant workers have after the break. Horsemen and others speak out on behalf of immigrant workers. Wave News reporter David Mattingly finds that they're calling on the White House and Congress to protect their workforce.
The debate over immigration crackdowns and deportations comes to the backside of Churchill Downs. Beyond the excitement and pageantry of horse racing, this is where the real work happens. It's estimated that 8 out of 10 backside workers at Churchill Downs are immigrants. What they do is hard, it is essential, and their livelihood now comes with an added risk.
It's the equine workers and it's workers from all the industries, manufacturing, construction, housing, healthcare. I think people are just worried about themselves or even their family members and co-workers.
Hoping to protect their workforce, horsemen and others speak out on behalf of immigrant workers.
I've worked with immigrant workers my whole life, and I've never seen people under the stress they're going through for the last 6 months.
Trainer Dale Romans is the president of the Kentucky Horsemen's Benevolent and Protective Association. Is there that daily concern that ICE might show up and even people with legal papers might be gone?
Well, everybody watches the news. They understand that what's going on around the country. And I know it's not the norm, but everybody's worried and concerned that ICE could show up and just take anybody off if they have a visa or not.
Romans says that fear extends beyond Churchill Downs. Workers feel vulnerable traveling from state to state as they work at different tracks. Supporters call on Congress and the White House to create a clear immigration path for equine workers.
And it is very important for us to be able to have this pipeline, this program where we can keep workers, get them here on a visa, get them on a fast track to a green card so that we can have them for a consistent workforce.
One possible indication of that fear here on the backside was that when the event was over today, all the workers attending left. No one wanted to answer questions. David Mattingly, Wave News.
At 5:30, we've got our eyes to the sky. Rain chances going back up. Today's alert day over. Tomorrow, yet to come. We've got your Oaks and Derby rain chances in the 10-day earliest alert when we return.
All right, let's talk about the forecast for Oaks and Derby. Kevin, I think there's going to be some adjustments. We talked about this yesterday, but adjustments to outfits for sure.
Yeah, and still more adjustments in the forecast, really. So that's just the humbling part about trying to forecast weather in the Ohio Valley is it's constantly changing, and it's not an easy forecast this year. Some years are easier than others. Some years we think it's easy, and it turns out not to be. But this year, boy, it really has been a tough one because we have a series of fronts moving through, and until you get one past, you don't know what the next one is going to do. We have a few showers still around this evening, but that chance is quickly fading. So the rain chance over the next 12 hours, very low. We're going to keep that down. Only about a 10 to 20% chance. Once it falls off in the morning, we'll notice that we could see some fog develop by early for your Oaks Day. Let's talk about the Oaks and Derby Day forecast. I'll give a brief overview here, and then I'll go into detail on what to expect in just a couple of minutes here. You'll notice the rain chance for Oaks Day still very low in the morning. This is just after midnight. That takes us to about 6, 7 in the morning. We're dry, but a little bit of fog. In the late morning and early afternoon, we'll start to increase slightly the rain chance. By mid-afternoon, we've got scattered thunderstorms, especially across parts of central Kentucky. And then a cluster of storms looks to move in our direction from the west as the day wears on. And that should arrive here sometime between that 4 and 9 p.m. time frame. And that's why you see that spike in the rain chance. Some of that could be heavy. Some could contain lightning, and in central Kentucky could be severe. So we're watching that. Once that passes, we quickly dry it back down only to see a minor rain chance go into early on Saturday. And throughout the morning Saturday into the afternoon, we're going to increase the rain chance. These will be more showers than storms, but nonetheless, the rain chance is fairly high on Derby Day, noting that by that 6, 7 o'clock time frame, we bring the rain chance back down. So there is still some hope that if it can speed up, we'll get that rain chance out of here just a little bit earlier. Let's go outside. Here are the Kentucky Mesonet sites that we have. A little cooler over in Franklin County because of the rain. Cloudy sky, temperature 64 there. The rain out of our viewing area with the exception of a few spotty showers that are fading as they move across parts of Orange and Crawford counties. You can see them on the map. Otherwise, we're going to see some sun for the sunset this evening. A wider view shows some severe weather across Pennsylvania, back down into northern Louisiana, southern Arkansas. Again, we mentioned the series of fronts. There's one waiting in the wings across parts of Illinois, another one back out across parts of Missouri. These have to move in our direction. So the Oaks Day forecast, dry early, rain starting to pop in the afternoon, scattered, especially central southern Kentucky. We'll watch this cluster of storms move closer to us. That should arrive close to us by that 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock time frame. That's when you saw the spike in the rain chance. So consequently, we go from fog to temperatures in the upper 70s, scattered storms in the afternoon, increasing that storm chance with that cluster of storms. And really, placement is everything with that. If it moves south, that'll be great news. We won't know that until we see it on the radar tomorrow. And then we'll taper that off with drying conditions into the evening. For the 151st running of the Kentucky Derby, there is no alert day, but we have the alert day for Oaks Day because of that line of storms and the severe potential. It's not for everybody, but it will be there, especially in central Kentucky. The Derby Day forecast shows, again, morning chance for rain, better of these scattered showers and few downpours during the afternoon, and that moves out during the late afternoon and evening. So our Derby forecast reflects that with scattered showers in the forecast, most likely from late morning into the early afternoon. Temperatures will be in the 60s. Well, it's 74 right now with a few peaks of sun. Tonight with some fog developing, we're down to 62. And in that 10-day earliest alert, we get in the 50s for temperatures on Sunday and Monday. Yeah, we see the highs cooler, but we could wind up noting Tuesday as the pick of the whole 10-day forecast. At least we've got some sun there.
You know, if you don't win on the horses for Oaks or Derby, I think if you go out and buy a bunch of ponchos right now and then go out to the track, yes, and then sell them, you'll make a killing that way.
Yeah, I'm afraid we're going to need it at times. I don't think it's going to rain all day, but we'll be fine-tuning the forecast every hour of the day.
All right, thanks so much, Kevin. Well, it's been a busy day out at Churchill Downs for Thurby. Let's check back in with my co-anchor Brian Schlonsky and Wave Sports Director Kendrick Haskins about the latest updates to the Derby field.
Yeah, so the horses in this last race on Thurby just thundered behind us on the grass, but I think a lot of people, us anyways, our minds are still on the Derby and that late scratch from one of Baffert's horses.
Right, in case you missed it, Bob Baffert's horse Rodriguez has scratched from the Kentucky Derby. He will be replaced by Beza, who came in second place in the Santa Anita Derby. Does have a win in his career, has raced 4 times, has 2 second-place finishes and a first-place finish. He just broke his maiden in the race before this one, so Beza makes his way to the Kentucky Derby.
Maybe on the hot streak. We'll wait and see.
Hopefully.
All right, Myra, well, the crowd is picking up here because this race is just about to go over the finish line, so we'll see what happens with the betting here on Thurby, and we'll have more coverage coming your way from the track here at 6 o'clock.
All right, thanks so much, guys. We will be right back. Wave has got you covered for all things Derby 151, from what's happening in and around the track to how to get there, what to bring, Derby parties, fashion, and all of the in-between. You can check out our one-stop guide on wave3.com and on the Wave News app. Wave News is your home for complete coverage of the 151st Kentucky Oaks and Kentucky Derby. And we thank you for joining us here on Wave News at 5. Wave News at 6 is coming up next.